International Football Alliance Newsroom, episode 4. We got the fourth episode. We're in the 10%. Congrats. Ironman of the Ohio Valley, quarterback 1 is announced. Pretty shocking stuff. Didn't even take any competition. We already got our guy. Next, Beavers minicamp, Tornadoes minicamp. We're gonna announce that or discuss that. Nothing announced. What's already been announced. Caballeros, Pine Arrows, bro, get out of here. They got tryouts. What those tryouts hold? Camp invites. Pine Arrows also expecting to sign players to camp soon. We gotta discuss that. Next. IFL, AF1. The AF1 guys are streaming? Yes. Are we watching? Yes. Partnership? Yes. What else is there? UFL. Gets even crazier. Some players are coming back, some players are not. IFL, Massachusetts Pirates. Back to back championship. They lost last season, but did they make it back there? Probably not, but they're looking good. So we gotta discuss that. And it's crazy because at this point it should just be the we're gonna do this. We're gonna try not after this episode. We're gonna try not to mention the Pirates. The Mass Pirates have to not make a signing or a trade or news. So the clock counter is back to 0 for the Pirates. So now, sit back, enjoy, listen on YouTube, watch on YouTube, listen on Spotify, watch on Spotify. Do as you please. Maybe Apple Podcasts soon. We'll see. But International Football Alliance Newsroom, episode 4. Let's hop right into it. So next, we got the Ironman. The Ironman announced James Franklin. He's the quarterback 1 heading into training camp. Him and Coach Manny, they were training together. And that raises a lot for the Ironman fans. They know who their guy is. I thought there was competition. I was going to make something about a backup quarterback. Now, we know they got Terrell West. That's the running back. So, it's looking like the core guys they are signing are the guys who are sticking with them. Those are the starters. Those are the guys they're pushing. There's not going to be competition with Drake Wells at wide receiver. No competition with Desaias Gandy at safety. No competition with Terrell West at running back. That's their core. They got their 53 guys, 13 to train, and that's the core. So now it's like, who's Alabama bringing in? Who's Tampa Bay bringing in? Well, we've already touched on that in the past. We can give a brief summary, but that's in a little bit because we got to talk about Beavers training camp. We got to talk about Tornadoes training camp. But some rapid fire, some news. Next, we got some mini camp. Alabama Beavers. Now, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they trimmed it from 140 to 90. Not 90. Sorry, from 200 to 140. I have no clue. But the Alabama Beavers are expected to have a training camp, minicamp, on the February 21st and 22nd, the same days as the USFL draft in 2022, if you're not aware. I thought this was actually kind of interesting. I was like, everything correlates kind of well. And I thought that's pretty cool. But things to note. This is not the official training camp. This is OTAs. Tampa Bay's having a similar thing, I believe, March 3rd and 5th. So, what I can say is, I don't know. I don't know who's going to make it or who's not. I heard, Will Arden. Yeah, I would say Will Arden might be the starter come week 1, but there will be a competition. I can't say who the competition is. But they made Will Arden public for a reason. There was also some trade that Prince Shinola was traded to Tampa Bay to Alabama. So if he was traded from Tampa Bay to Alabama, that means he would be starting on that Beavers roster. And he would have been very, very helpful. Coaching has not been announced for Alabama. There's still something about working contracting out right now. I'm not sure or aware what that is. But they're going to trim to that 90 heading to camp. I'm pretty sure they're going to trim to 82 to make room for 8 for the draft. But Alabama, I'm pretty sure they've stopped signing players. I know they have a lot. But they've trimmed a lot, and It's good though. I mean, some I'm seeing what some of these guys are posting on Instagram, and I'm like, bro, stop it. But I'm not Alabama. Now, if you're trying to push the brand, you have sponsors and stuff like that, and you're getting cut because of this. I'm not shocked. But some guys they have had UFL interest. They've played in the CFL. They're bringing in guys who played in the NFL. They're bringing in guys from like fresh out of college. So that's gonna be pretty cool to see. But man, like, stop posting some of this stuff, man. I'm not gonna point out names. If some of the Beavers representatives like call and say, "Hey, who it is?" I'll be like, "All right, bro." But like, man, not even that. You're talking about like UFL interest as well, and you're posting stuff like that, bro. Like, get off. Not get off socials, but come on, Anyways, moving on to that Dallas. They got some trials March 15th. Come be a part of that. I think that's pretty cool. As we also know, February 15th, the Caballeros, they got some tryouts. So that's pretty interesting. I'm very excited for both because yes, there's camp invites. Now, we know Caballeros have their quarterback room set. I'm excited for that. They have a running back room set, wide receiver room set, offensive line set, defensive line set, cornerback set, safety set, linebacker set, kicker set. It's pretty cool. They're the really I'm gonna call them the San Antonio linemen. For now, offensive coordinator Stan Bedwell, head coach is Han Mumme, and Tom Mason is the defensive coordinator. Very excited. I already covered them briefly. I did a full in depth of who they are, but who you should know is tight end Jared Scott for the Breakers. Very cool, very good. Oh, he played for the Breakers, for the Caballeros, of course, but he had played for the Breakers and spent time in. Well, in reality, he was in Houston and Birmingham, but still awesome. And next, the Pioneeros. The Pioneeros have started signing players to camps, but we're gonna expect to hear that in the next week or few weeks. Also, Toledo expansion. What's going on? They're supposed to announce a Toledo expansion for 2026. They're supposed to do it on the 10th. It's the 22nd, man. What are you doing? Where's this Toledo team at? We need to see it. We need to see where this Toledo team, as I am predicting, as I am predicting, Hugh Jackson will be the Toledo head coach for this franchise. And if he is, I have to do 10 cartwheels. That's what the top comments said, or quit podcasting. The top comments to do 10 cartwheels. So I'm gonna do the 10 if it's Hugh Jackson, and I don't think it's gonna be him, but be aware though, he was at a lot of the showcases and trials. Hugh Jackson was spotted a lot. There was a Cincinnati one back way many months of moons ago. He was in attendance, so be on the lookout for Hugh Jackson as a possibility of head coach. We know there's a Georgia, not Atlanta. It's not Atlanta, and it's in Georgia. Iowa has reached out. Richmond, Virginia, I've spoken to players who are free agents. They're not really players, but I've spoken to some players, and they say that Richmond, Virginia would be a great location, a relocation, or even location spot. So especially in the USFL, UFL, or where's my all football manners at? Especially in the UFL, that could be a great relocation spot for a Memphis struggling team to a packed out crowd. And not even that, Richmond is itching for professional football. So Richmond makes sense. I'm pretty sure there has been talks in the IFA, and there's supposed to be a Mexico. There could possibly be a Canada, depending on how these next few years pan out for the league. A Canada team could be expected, and maybe a PDX return. But I don't see that happening. California also out for expansion markets, so do not be on the lookout for a California team. Nevada, nope, that's not going to happen. We know there was Vegas. I'm going to break down the Vegas stuff. Money was not in order for Vegas, so they kick them out. Vegas tries to join the AF1, and the AF1's like, yo, you can't join here. You don't have your money. So the AF1 kicks them out. And then the Arizona is not on the table yet, as from what I've heard. Also, Baltimore, I've spoken. I'll speak again just in case it's your first time, listening. Baltimore did not have money in place, did not have money to pay players nor coaches. They had released this to the team way many prior before this happened, that hey, you're getting kicked out, and the league kept trying to push like they were playing the Tornadoes on the 2nd. So they kept trying to push it. Hey, June 2nd, I'm playing Tornadoes. June 2nd, just wait, just watch us, man. We're about to play them, and it doesn't happen. And so scheduling has to get pushed back even more, but also expect a 7th team to be added, and I'm excited. I'm very excited if there's a 17. If not, well, I guess so. It just doesn't have not to work out. Next, we have a lot more to discuss. Some F1. What's up with you guys? Anyways, let's hop right into that. Now we strike that mass pirates clock to 0. Day counter 0 days since we've got some mass pirates big time news. And I'm not talking like breaking news or small news, but some big time news with the mass pirates. The mass pirates sign defensive lineman DJ Dale, who played with Alabama, the University of Alabama. Spent a little NFL time, but nothing super crazy. Next, they also signed former NFL wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, Damon Hazelton. And man, I'll say about them is this: they're bringing in Kenji Bahar, they're bringing in Puka Williams, they bringing in NFL talent, NFL scouts, NFL level. What is this team doing wrong? Like, they were like a 9-7 team that ended up making the championship. That's crazy. They lost it. They got blown out. I was man, hate the Rattlers, man. Screw the Rattlers. Rattlers, doom. Thumbs down for the Rattlers. Hate the Rattlers. I was gonna make something about how Don Snead was gonna compete with James Franklin, quarterback for the Ironman, but it's looking like there's no competition at all now. But I was gonna make some stuff, man. I'm a Spencer. I'm not Spencer rather. But anyways, I'm a Dalton Snead hater. Okay, I'm gonna hate on Dalton Snead all I want, and you can say, oh, this, all that, man. Power to the left, power to the right. Oh, drop back throw. Man, he had an impressive career in college. Yes, at the University of Montana, very impressive, very good. But man, I hate the Rattlers, man. The Rattlers suck. Anyways, that's all we have for the Mass Pirates streaming IFL. We've now been diving into the schedule, another episode where we just discussed the IFL. Hopefully, if this does well. You want me to cover just the IFL in an episode? I'll do that. National Football Alliance held its combine January 18th. So let's discuss what I know. Teams will be signing players to camp invites from this tryout. Pretty cool, right? Well, nothing to hear yet, but they will be expecting to announce soon. Now, the combine apparently went very well, very successful. A lot of cool, names, a lot of cool players. The biggest one is we can name quarterback Justin Arth. Make the Justin Arth Glaze show after this. I mean, in reality, we should just call it the Justin Arth Glaze show, the Mass Pirates news show, the Arizona Bandits news show. But Justin Arth was in there, and I haven't seen. Oh, I mean, he's posted on his highlights, but they're supposed to stream it on Right Now TV. Something didn't get in the way with scheduling. I'm not aware. I'm not sure. I have no clue. Now, what I do know, players are getting signed to camp. The camp at least May 15th. That's when they're showing up. The 15th. I've seen a lot of 15s. Games on the 15th as well. But that's when camp starts, May 15th. 90 guys, 90 to 53 or 54 or whatever. Training in an active roster. But getting signed to camp is crazy. Now, of course, we're probably going to see that around like 73, 74 instead of 90, which would make so much more sense, especially in an international landscape or indoor landscape. That would make so much more sense than a 90. But of course, we're going to see Tampa Bay come in with 90 guys. We're going to see Alabama come in with 90 guys. We're probably not going to see San Antonio come with 90 guys. San Antonio already has their core set. And they've had it set for months, and they're just trying to build on it and build on it and build on it. And Stan Bedwell is going to do an incredible job as an offensive coordinator. That's all I can say. Next, the UFL. So we got a lot. No, we already discussed all like the major UFL news, but we got some UFL news. Now, Joseph Ngata Welcome to the UFL. You took the spot of Deion Kane back in 2023. We won't forgive you for that. You stole it from the Eagles. But where did you go? To the Birmingham Stallions. Who's your teammate? Deion Kane. I think actually, no, Deion Kane's back. I was saying, I think he stole Deion Kane's roster spot. You know what would be funny though? If Deion Kane and Joseph Ngata are both on the Stallions team in 2020. 25. Well, they're on the same team, but let's say if Joseph Ngata steals Deion Kane's roster spot, it'll be twice. I'll bring that up on Spring to Football and make a small point on it. Davion Davis is back. Welcome back to Birmingham after some NFL stints back to back, and Austin Watkins is also coming in to Birmingham. They spent time with Birmingham as well. Was last with the Eagles. Pretty interesting. Eagles signed him to a futures deal last year, 2024, around this timeline, and they signed it. They released him. Comes to Birmingham. So one thing I could see, there's Eagles. They're bringing Eagles players in. Well, a few, but they're bringing some players in from Philly. So what do we see? We're possibly going to see some guys who also come from Philly as well at the quarterback position. So who's gonna back up Matt Corral? I don't think it's gonna be Jamar Smith. Really, I think Jamar Smith's more of a liability in Birmingham. Now there are a lot of people who are gonna listen to this and say this, but Ian Book, keep your eye out. Why does Matt Corral? Matt Corral had nothing to do with this. Corral was a Patriot. Oh, he was a Patriot and a Panther. Nothing to do with the Eagles. So Matt Corral has nothing to do with it. But the fact that Deion Kane was formerly an Eagle, the fact that Joseph Ngata was formerly an Eagle, and the fact that Austin Watkins has spent time with the Eagles doesn't raise like suspicion, but you're like, anyways, expect a quarterback, expect a running back. Next, Memphis. Bring a quarterback in already. What are you doing? Go trade for Chase Garber's rights. Please go make a trade. You traded for the wrong guy. I did not want Quentin Dormady. Anyways, go trade for Chase Garber's rights. You have Troy Williams on there. Williams isn't a bad quarterback, but Williams isn't quarterback one. I mean, Williams will lead you to 4 wins on a season, guaranteed. I could say that as a starter in the UFL. He can lead you to 4 wins. But Troy Williams is not quarterback one in Memphis. Go get Chase Garber's. Like, anyways, Tyler Huntley also is a retaining free agent for 0 teams. Shocker. So you could bring him in there. Make a trade for like Bryce Perkins, EJ Perry, or Brian Lewerke, or go get Lewerke's rights from Michigan. Which that's also something is Brian Lewerke. I'm not sure he's returning to the UFL landscape at all. That landscape is looking too good. I could see him dropping over to Memphis, not to Memphis, sorry, Ohio Valley. I could see the Ohio Valley Ironman going in and getting a quarterback like that. Not a lot of other UFL news like this really popping. We got training camp in less than a month. I believe no, it's a month. We're a month away. We're around a month away. We're under 40 days till training camp, and then an extra 40 days or 35 days till the season starts. So I'm personally excited. March 28th, mark your calendars. We got fireworks. Nolan Henderson versus probably Max Duggan. But I've also heard people say, hey, you got this other guy, Manny Wilkins. He's probably going to be the starter. But we don't know. He could play that AJ McCarron role, or he could play that like Jamar Smith role, being more valuable than Jamar Smith, because I don't see Jamar Smith being a starting quarterback or backup quarterback in Birmingham. Other words, Paris and the ELF, who did they get? Jack Del Rio to be their head coach. Now I know that Bart Adris had gone to Frankfurt Galaxy. I thought I'd actually recently found this out, but apparently signed all the way back in September around the 28th. But Jack Del Rio, if you're not aware, was the Raiders coach around the time they had Derek Carr till he got fired for John Gruden. And then he was the defensive coordinator over in Washington with Ron Rivera. Had some very disappointing defenses in Washington, had disappointing seasons after showing promise in Oakland. Yes, at the time, Oakland, they're the Oakland Raiders. Now he goes over to Paris to coach the Musketeers. I almost said play, but to coach the St. Paris Musketeers in the ELF, European League Football, which there will be International Football Power Rankings top 25, but reality is just gonna be the ELF teams versus the IFA teams. We might toss in some. No, okay, no, we're not gonna toss it. We might toss some CFL teams, but like, no, we're not gonna toss in there. There will be a top 25 or a top 10 instead of just power rankings. Let's get these players mad, because I'm gonna be wild with it. The player graded performance system, or the RST, it's a stat performance system, is in the works. I will be revealing it later, but I really have the quarterbacks and the running backs really down yet. But in short note, I can say you will have certain criteria, and your certain criteria will give you a score, and that score is from 1.2 to 100, and that will lead on over. Instead of just using a passer rating to grade a quarterback, we will be grading them with the player graded performance system, or the stat performance system. The IFL had some rule changes, but we're gonna get into the IFL rule changes later. So wait, I don't love you. I'm just kidding. Anyways, quarterbacks we could see in the IFA. Boom. I was making a whole thing about Dalton Sneed coming in, Ethan Harker coming in, but then it was announced that James Franklin is their guy 100%. He's retired. This is his 5-year return from football. Do they bring in insurance? I don't know. We do know pay $1,500 is guaranteed by the team, by the league, not the team, by the league for quarterback. There might be incentives for specific players. Could be depending on the contract they sign. So it's pretty cool. So is James Franklin going to be good? It's been 5 years. Okay, he retired back in, what could we say, 2020. Well, he was supposed to play in 2020, but this is 5-year football return. He retired and he's returning. Is James Franklin gonna be good? That's the question. I have no clue. I'd say bring in an experienced backup from the IFL. Dalton Sneed, mentioned him, but not to compete insurance. Who do you know that could play insurance for this Ohio Valley team? Not Birmingham. Alabama's bringing in insurance. That's pretty cool. Tampa Bay, I'm assuming, outside of N'Kosi Perry. I don't know if he's actually with the team though. The team announced it. I don't know what's going on with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's super super quiet. I'd like to discuss with Tampa Bay, but Alabama's 100% in. Dallas will hopefully announce somebody. Chilara, the Rebellion. Prince Davis is their quarterback that they're bringing into camp. One of them that they're bringing in, and they're handling it very very well. They got their Mexican guys, but they got fair amount of players who aren't international, mainly U.S. But you're playing in Mexico, you're international, so that's pretty cool. And San Antonio, I already covered the three-headed quarterback. How it's Chris Barrett and Stan Bedwell, not Chris Barrett, Stan. It's Chris Barrett and Nate Hayden both. But at the 3, we could see Jeremy Hunt at the 3. Just send out their quarterback, scout quarterback, point some things out. Maybe takes a few read options here and there. That'd be pretty cool. He could play a Holton Aller's role that they have. Maybe, just maybe, Kevin Hogan gets cut from San Antonio, from the Brahmas, and they bring him we're gonna bring you in. But for now, there's no clue. But quarterbacks who we're gonna see in the IFA, Ethan Harker, one name, did not resign to Billings to play with the Outlaws. Instead, they bring in Braden Wiggle. Pretty funny, I know, pretty funny name. I had a funny laugh about that last name. I'm not the only one, don't worry. Who else? So you think there's Levi Lewis. He just played in the ELF this last year. Kind of disappointing, but also dealt with injury. I don't know if it's an injury, if he was benched. Nothing is tracked, which is annoying. They don't release anything or track anything. They had some other guy play. I don't even know who it was, but he had some good throws, good plays. I watched him play because I know he's playing over here, and I was a very very big fan when he's coming out of college. Didn't work out with Seattle. Seattle had a gem, didn't work out. Went over to CFL, didn't work out. And there was talks about him in the Breakers. did not work out, so he's not playing football. He says, all right, the UFL is not an option for me right now. Where am I going to go? Boom, let's go overseas. Overseas players could come in. Expect that. Expect big ELF guys to come in play here because, well, their family's out in the US. Why are they going to be over in Europe when they could play out here and they have a chance to and they have offers to? Fan control football guys, expect them to possibly sign. We got to bring them in again, but we could talk about Justin Arth again. Yeah, woohoo, Justin Arth. So he had a verbal offer. He revealed to me this. He revealed this on Let's Bring It to Football interview. But he revealed, hey, look, I got a verbal offer from Coach Art Briles. Probably a couple of other quarterbacks do as well. So it's not just him. But they said they want to bring him into training camp. Note this though, the owner Jason Adams, of one of the co-owners of the league, is also a co-owner in Dallas. So there might be influence that he may have to bring players into Dallas. Note that, put that down. He's been a Pioneros owner ever since the team was in Mexico. Note that, put that as a mental note you make. So if they sign a player who you say, whoa, make that note and say, okay, well, the league owner or I don't know what his role is, minority owner of the league or commissioner part, because he stated that himself that he's not the owner, but just a part owner. But expect that. And man, Baltimore actually had us all fooled because I was thinking for a moment, man, like some of these guys, I saw Bryson Allen and I was like, there's no way. He was literally just in the UFL. How is this guy coming just from the UFL all the way over to the International Football Alliance? That's interesting. What influence do they have? Eric Marty, maybe. I was thinking maybe it's just Eric Marty. Well, they reveal they haven't paid him. Eric Marty goes to players like, hey, yeah, you're not playing. They'd announced Matt Elam, and I was thinking, Matt Elam, whoa. But the Matt Elam was also signed to Fisher Fright as a defensive assistant or was a defensive coordinator. I believe it was a defensive coordinator under Dixie Witten. I was thinking to myself, damn, that's probably like the signing of the signings. But then you find out he was actually part of the team. Interesting story. Unless I'm wrong, but when he was already signed as a defensive coordinator, he's not gonna go play his game and then come back, and it doesn't work like that. Especially after but deal is he can't call his career quits after just losing the championship. But he didn't have it in him. I've heard people say, oh, he just does not have it in him. I also heard when the International Football Alliance kicked out Baltimore, they're saying this is the day the IFA falls, not the UFL. The UFL will never fall. Well, hope it never falls. But anyways, they say this is the day the IFA had fallen, and I was like, yeah, right. Like, I already know what's going. Like, I know things are going on. I know that they're planning expansions. They have expansion inquiry. People inquiring to expand into the International Football Alliance for 2027. Raise some eyebrows. Anyways, leave the quarterback in the comment. If you're listening this far, leave a comment. Say, hey, the show sucks. Also, leave a quarterback. Who do you want to see? I don't want to hear no of this Johnny Manziel stuff, because we know Johnny Manziel is not playing football at all. Sucked in the fan control football. And also be reasonable. Josh Rosen is not playing football. He's gonna learn how to maximize shareholder value in your portfolio. So that's what he's gonna do. Josh Rosen is not playing football. Stop with that one. Also, another interesting offseason coming directly from Houston to Arlington was Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster was one of the players who had been thinking about and had been reached out to about the USFL. Did it. Was incredible. He was just outstanding in the USFL in 2023. Gets drafted by Houston, and then it doesn't work out. Well, injuries really. And he gets cut, goes to Arlington. Watch out for that. But with that being said, that's going to wrap it. Episode 4. Talk some UFL, talk some IFA, talk some AF1. IFL episode possibly coming up soon. AF1 Fantasy. You want to play? DM on the International Football IFA Newsroom at the Ref Semi on Snapchat, Instagram, really. But hey, shoot us a text. Always messages. DMs are open. Whatever you want to talk about, we talk. It's football always. But With that being said, leave a comment, subscribe if you want, follow if you want, leave a like if you want, do whatever you want. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. More to come on the way.